Is yet another exorcism movie that came out last year. It's called The Rite. So it follows this guy who, ever since he was a kid, his dad has worked in a mortuary, or he owns one, and so he dresses up dead people basically for funerals, which is I've always thought that's a bit of an awkward job, or I've always wondered how people get into that line of work. But anyways, so this guy eventually goes on to become a priest. Well, he goes into training to become a priest, but then as he's nearing, after 4 years of doing this, he's nearing the end, then he starts having doubts about his faith and stuff, and he wants to resign from this. And then the priest who he's been close with throughout his training, I guess you would call it, he convinces him not to. He sends him to Rome to take part in a class for doing exorcisms. And that's basically about it. The rest of the movie is the guy doing exorcisms and stuff, and kind of learning from Anthony Hopkins, who you'll find is in this movie a little while in, I guess. Not the main character, but the other guy, I have no idea who he is. I've never seen him in anything else. But this movie, I don't know, the exorcism movies kind of made a comeback last year, I guess, which kind of came out of nowhere because, of course, they were huge in, was it 70s or 80s that the first exorcism movie came out. And then, of course, a bunch of others came out, sequels and stuff. And then a few years back, they started coming out with more exorcism movies, like The Exorcism of Emily Rose. And then there were a few other ones. There was another Exorcist movie, Exorcist the Beginning, or whatever it was called. And there's this one. There are a couple other ones. So they were kind of making a comeback, and I think this is kind of near the latter end of the peak, because you don't really see them as much the past 2 years. This one came out last year, like I said, 2011. So overall, it's a decent movie. It doesn't do an amazing job of being scary or anything. There are parts that'll make some people jump, but I can usually see those kind of things coming. Overall, it's not too predictable of a movie. There goes a cat. Maybe that's actually something that happens in a movie. A cat is supposed to be scary, but yeah. So there are a few parts that make you jump if you're not too good at predicting things like that happening in horror movies. I guess this is more of a thriller than a horror movie or anything, because it's not like there's a killer or anything. But there is a girl who has to be the creepy. It's more so creepy than scary or startling, because there's a girl who's getting an exorcism, and when she's taken over by the devil, I put that in a huge amount of quotes, she is kind of creepy, because she's Italian, so she doesn't speak English, but then this voice takes over, and it's this really creepy voice. So the actress does, of course, a good job of pretending to be possessed. And so, overall, a good movie. It's kind of your basic movie. You can see what's going to happen in the end. That's how all movies are, though, so I don't even know if I should say that, because that's how every single movie is now that's produced by Hollywood. Overall, it's a good movie. I would give it a 7 out of 10, I guess, because it's not amazing, but really, it wasn't awful. I thought maybe it would be kind of more typical, but it wasn't insanely typical, and it is worth the watch. Rewatchability rating would have to be a 2 out of 10 because it wasn't amazing. That's all I really have to say for this movie. Maybe you could rewatch it again if you buy it, but not amazing movie, but not terrible. So if you got some time, got nothing else to watch, check this movie out. See you next week.